Live. Yo, what up, Knicks Nation? Win or lose, rain or shine, we are back with another KFTV post-game live. So let's get into this one. Knicks on the second night of a back-to-back after losing to the Detroit Pistons yesterday are looking to come into this game and win and just, go into the postseason on positive vibes. And, when you see that Kenny Atkinson says that, hey, they don't care, and you're looking to secure the third seed, and you're watching what the Pacers are doing, benching all five guys, you say, hey, Cavs ain't feeling it. Pacers don't want to do anything tonight. We should go out there and win. And it looked like it was going to head in that direction. Knicks, going into the second quarter, had a 23-point lead on the Cavs. But Darius Garland and company said, not tonight, man. There was no Donovan Mitchell, no Ty Jerome, all right? No, Hunter. No Hunter tonight as well. And guess what? Cavs said, we're going to make this a game. That they did in the second half. And so what the Knicks would end up doing is dwindling the lead and making it a game in the fourth quarter where you had all the starters back in there for both teams for tonight's matchup. And sadly, the Knicks, due to some blunders down the stretch of this game, OG smoking a layup. Man, could have made that a close one, man. Could have made it a close one. Knicks would ultimately fall to the Cavs in this one, 108-102. Knicks on a 3-game skid heading into the postseason. Let's talk about it tonight. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Make sure to call in through the Discord. Make sure to download the app. Go through the web browser. Whatever fits your fancy. We want to hear your takes tonight. Come on, people. You already know what it is. So, with me on the other side, we got my guy, Geoff Campbell. All right. Jeff Boy RD, as he goes by on X. And I'm your host for tonight, Alex Terrace, a.k.a. the Stratocaster. Let's talk about this game, man. Let's talk about this game. Jeff, we were up by 23 in the second quarter. All seemed like smooth sailing. Not tonight, my man. Not tonight. Even had a travel by Josh Hart, man, when he should have just shot the three. What's going on, man? What were your thoughts on this game?
I mean, listen, there will be no crash out from me here tonight. But I wasn't pleased. Interesting big picture thing is I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say that, I don't buy the Cavs in the playoffs. They're a great regular season team, but I don't buy them in the playoffs. I don't know what basketball game you're watching, if that's your feeling, but the Cavs are very clearly a great team. I know we sat Cat tonight, but they sat, three very important rotation players in Donovan Mitchell, Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter. I think they sat Sam Merrill as well, who's their three-point marksman. And, they still figured out how to get their shooters open. They're very well coached. They were down 23, like you said, Alex. They didn't panic. They were ready. They got back up and they punched back. And you know what? When they started to turn the momentum and cut our lead, we were the team that kind of cuddled up and went into the turtle shell. We didn't figure out how to adjust. We didn't figure out how to punch back. So there's a little bit of concern there for me because I feel like, for whatever reason, adversity has been something that we struggle with as a team all year. And I didn't see that know-how, that fight that I was looking for tonight, even though you could say that maybe this wasn't a game that had a strong level of urgency for the Knicks that maybe it should have. They wrapped up. They knew by the fourth that they clinched the third seed and they were going to play the Pistons. We'll get into that later. But I was concerned about some things tonight. Big picture, I'm not super worried, but it would have been nice just to get one win against the Cavs or the Celtics before getting into this postseason. And then, like you finished the monologue, going into the postseason on a 3-game skid. We got Brooklyn on Sunday. It's not what you want. It's not ideal.
It's not what you want indeed, bro. And look, Knicks on a 3-game skid right now. I I don't even know how to feel at this point. It's just what was it? I was tuning into CK2K doing the play-by-play, and he read out a comment saying, we're gonna be up by someone commented in the chat saying we'll be up by 20 at the beginning of the game and still lose it. And I just gotta laugh because it's like what is going on at this point, man? And I'm just disappointed in the execution. Like, even though Atkinson, you could say the team, it's a meaningless game. It wasn't a meaningless game entering in tonight because you didn't walk up the third seed. We know Thibs has that mantra of you play for the best positioning, you want the third seed. That's just who he is as a head coach. We already know that. And so to take it lightly towards the end of the game, I'm not thrilled by that just because they had more players out. But I'm honestly just ready for the postseason to begin, man. Because honestly, this is where the real test is going to be made for this team, for the head coach. But if you're going to look at this game and dissect it through and through, should you be worried? I don't know. It all depends. But I think if you're Tom Thibodeau right now and your team's on a 3-game skid and you lost to 3 playoff teams that you could be facing all in a row, you know what I mean? Entering the postseason, I'd be a little worried if I was the head coach, just because you should be entering, like, look, Boston, that was like a dress rehearsal of a game if I've ever seen one. Okay, you went out there, wanted to compete, you had the lead, you wanted to prove something that, hey, you can compete, you can hang with these guys. You lose that one. You want to tell me that Detroit didn't matter? You could tell me that Detroit didn't matter, but you had some of your starters out there. You had your top 2 guys, 2 all-stars, 2 guys that are all NBA talents out there. You have probably one guy in Cade Cunningham out there for Detroit, and you lose that one. And then you lose tonight after being up 23, where they don't have Donovan Mitchell, they don't have Hunter, they don't have all those guys, and yet you can't close it out. And if I'm the head coach right now, I'm wondering how come we can't execute down the stretch of games. And I think that's going to be a big thing that will come up in the postseason. Like, you just want to see the execution, you want to see a little bit of game strategy in tonight. And even if you want to argue saying, if it doesn't matter, if it doesn't, all these things don't matter because we're waiting for the postseason, then why not give guys like Shamit, other guys, even more run in a game that doesn't matter? Where if you get the nod saying, hey, we locked up the third seed, Pacers lost, if that's the case, why are you running your guys back out to compete with Darius Garland and all these other guys? So am I hitting the panic button? Shout out to my guy Brandon London. I was on the New York Post earlier today. He's like, is my hand hovering over the panic button? No, I'd still believe this team can defeat the Detroit Pistons, even though some believe I'm just worried. No, I just want this team to execute, man. And that's the one thing. It's like that has just been the consistent pattern that since watching this team, is that we don't execute, we don't focus to the attention to detail as we should. And for a team that has championship aspirations, even if you're not trying to compete on a night like tonight, right? You got to at least demonstrate that. And so when I look at the head coach, that's supposed to be his thing, instilling in these guys at all levels. So that's my take from this game, man. That's how I feel.
One other thing I want to throw in there is you hit the nail on the head too with the attention to detail. I was so surprised when I looked back at the box score and only saw 8 turnovers, because it felt like we had 15, 17 tonight. And the situational awareness, just boneheaded cross court passes when we've just secured the rebound. We're ready to go in transition. McCall did this. Josh Hart did this a couple of times. Obviously, the travel that he had when he should have just shot, like you mentioned before. These are just ridiculously dumb plays that don't seem, too big in the moment, but you look back and this is why you lose games. We also lost the rebounding battle tonight by 10. That's not a Tom Thibodeau team. We always win the rebound battle. Of course, when you lose Hartenstein, that's going to be difficult. I thought Mitch did an amazing job. We'll talk more about that later. We obviously didn't have Cat. He's always good for at least 13 plus. But there's some weird things going on with this team. The vibes are not great. This is a playoff tested team. There's a good foundation here. Like you said, I'm not pushing the panic button, but there's some things to be concerned about that need to be addressed.
Absolutely, man. And if we're gonna stick on this for a little bit and just say, hey, this team's got the playoff experience, as you noted. Them versus Detroit, that's why I got them beating them. I don't think it's going to be. I think a lot of fans are very confident that it could be a 5-1, and absolutely could be a 5-1.
Yeah.
4-1. Take out the Pistons in 5 game in 5 games. Absolutely could go that way. I could also see it going 6. I think if you're looking at these games and just the decision making just from Thibs alone and saying, hey, in a game like tonight where you have a guy like Josh Hart who's not willing to shoot the three, Like we've seen this story way too many times. And you saw he did tonight. That was like a costly turnover, right? He didn't even pump fake. He was like waited for the defender to come to him. He's like, I'm just gonna drive. And it's like, yo, you walk before you even dribble the ball.
Right.
Right. And it's stuff like that where we can go 2 years in the past, right? We could go 2 years ago, a year last year. This team was actually on winning streaks before entering the postseason. It doesn't mean you have to get hot, but you want to go into the postseason with a little bit of confidence, right? And so if you're a head coach, I think you should be looking for that in these times. 2 years ago, let's not forget Brunson and Donovan Mitchell went toe to toe in like game 78, 79, whatever it may be. And like we had 40, like what, a 40, 30 point performance from both those players. And it was
Yeah.
like, yo, this is a preview of what we're about to get in the first round. Last year, we wanted to say, hey, even with all the injuries, we are going to battle against the Celtics, man. We battled all the way to the last game. We went on a winning streak. And so to go on a 3 game skid, and for the fact that it's one thing to be, it's one thing if the ball doesn't bounce your way, but if you're getting out efforted, if you're not executing, if you're not doing all those things like walking into the playoffs, I hope I'm wrong, man. I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope this team just flips a switch. I think it's very difficult to do. I really hope they flip a switch in the postseason and really like shut me up because I do honestly want to see that. But when you look at the team and what's happening and the execution, there's got to be like it's like purchasing a car, purchasing a home. You could be confident as all hell in those things. Like, hey, I want this thing. You can feel good about it, but you can't tell me if you're spending money, if you're doing something, if it's an investment. You're like, there's always a little bit of like a little bit of doubt, right?
Yeah.
And so that's all I'm saying. Hopefully this team proves me wrong, though. Hopefully this team proves me wrong. Salute to Nick Station. Thank you all for tuning in for another KFTV post game live. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. With me on the other side is my guy Geoff Boyardee, Jeffrey Campbell. Make sure to follow him on X. All right, people. Make sure to call in through the Discord tonight. Want to hear your thoughts on this game? We got some franchise channel members. We got Sean NY. Welcome to the franchise channel member, my guy. And we got Count Olaf's trap line. Hey, here we go. Been a member for 2 months. Says the only way Thibs stays is if we make it to the finals. Get him out of here. Woo! People are already upset over Tom. Not already upset. They've been upset, man. They've been upset since this man walked through the front door year one. That's how people felt about Thibs, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's talk about Mitch, man. Let's go to something positive because I thought Mitch looked great tonight, and he played 32 minutes. And I tweeted this out, especially when you watch him play offensively. The touch around the rim is just different. Like it's not like he relies on dunking as he did in the past. I mean, the finger roll today, we've seen him use the backboard to finish, and just even the lob today. What was it from Bridges to Mitch? I mean, I loved everything about that. Mitch is looking confident. You got a Mitch type stat line tonight. He gets what, 8 boards? Let me double check this. Sorry, 7 boards. 5 of them are offensive boards. Get 2 assists, two steals, 1 block, 8 points, 3 or 4 from the field. Went 2 or 4 from the free throw line. And I thought Mitch had a pretty solid game, man. And he's definitely going to be the difference maker when you think about his defensive impact. And if he's going to do a little bit of this on offense, I mean, it's only been 17 games that he's played, or 18 now, but I really like what Mitch has been providing for this team in the limited games that he's played, man. What do you think about Mitch tonight?
Yeah, I thought Mitch was incredible. I thought we were back in 2023, watching Mitch dominate Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on the boards. I know if you look at the box score, Jared Allen had a pretty solid night. He had a double double. Mobley, I think, had 16. But if you watch the whole game and you see the scrum of, bigs going for the rebound, Mitch was out jumping all of them, tipping the ball to himself, getting offensive rebounds, tough boards, second chance points or second chance opportunities for your team. I thought he was great in drop coverage. He took like great angles, making sure that the guard didn't have, a free lane to the rim while also, kind of defending his big on his side too. He was great. And I honestly think Mitch is my X factor for the postseason.
Mm.
I'm gonna go out there and put it out there. I know a lot of attention is going to be paid to Wingstop. A lot of people are going to talk about Mikhail and OG, and rightfully so. I mean, if we don't get big series from either or both of them, it's going to be really difficult regardless. But I think Mitchell Robinson is the type of guy that can really take us over the top. And not so much in a series like the Pistons series, but I mean further along because he has such an ability to stop the other offense's game plan to prevent them. And it's one of those things where, okay, I think he had, one block tonight, but how many times does he prevent the opposing guard from just driving into the paint just with his presence alone? That's a huge factor that probably doesn't show up in the regular box score, but that's a big part of what Mitch does. And he is phenomenal at boxing out. And also, if he has to follow a guard that's going around the baseline, dribbling around, he's done such a great job of not mistiming jumps or going for fakes. He stays on the ground, he holds his ground, he times everything really well. I was literally jumping out of my seat, man, when I saw him clap and take on Jason Tatum one-on-one and get that block. I was like, literally one of the plays of the season for me. So I thought Mitch was great tonight, and I expect him to be even better in the postseason because I think this guy is hungry as hell. He was out. A lot of people were talking trash about him, myself included. And like I said, I write all the apology forms for him, whatever you want me to do, pay my dues. This guy is so impactful to our team, especially with Cat. We know his defensive liabilities. Mitch is going to be big for us in the postseason. Wherever we go, he's going to be a big part of it.
Does the chat believe Mitch will be an X factor? Tim, if we can create a poll, do you think Mitch will be the X factor in the postseason? I would like to get that one up, man. Let's get some calls, Geoff. Let's get to some calls. Sayquizzzy on the line. Sayquizzzy, if you could unmute your mic, my man. What's going on?
You hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, bro? How you feeling?
Thank God the Pacers won because today was a tank job. Today was a tank job today. So regular like they got to get it together. But wait, my fault.
Pacers
Hold on, I'm
lost.
trying to knock on the door. But
Oh,
today looked like a tank job. Like they gotta get it together right now. Like the Nets game, they should rest. Like nobody should be out there. It should be Shamit, McBride, all those guys play because they off the bench. We need them because right now it look like nobody care. We keep blowing leads. It is what it is because right now it doesn't matter. But playoff time, that's when everybody's going to get judged. So I believe they should rest everybody. But the only concerns I really got is like us blowing leads, like starting like the second quarter, like the end of the second quarter, going into the third is usually when we blow like the lead. Like that's why I'm not liking. Even in like start of the season, we done that a lot. It's just not this game, or even like concerns like if a team get hot in the playoffs, we usually don't come back a lot. So we got to work on that. But I'm loving how Shamit playing, McBride's playing, even Robinson today. Like Shamit been shooting, and we've been looking for this, and to lead to the playoffs, that's a good sign to me. But that's all I really got to say.
Appreciate the call, Sayquizzzy. Appreciate your call. And look, we're talking. Sayquizzy's talking about a tank job. I don't necessarily think this is a tank job. I think if it was a tank job, they would have like as soon as they know the Pacers won, everyone on the bench. We don't worry about it no more. But I do agree with them. I think that Sunday we shouldn't see anybody. Like it
yeah.
doesn't even, like what's the point? JB got to 65. He can now get his awards, his end of season awards. There's not really a point to this game. It's not going to change anything much. If you do put those guys out there to get into some rhythm for reps, it better be short, man. It truly better be short. But I would even chance it. The team has now made it to the end of the road. Play your bench. Let them play the remainder of the game. Get like your sixth, seventh, eighth guys a little bit more run. Save Mitch even. You don't even got to play Mitch that game. What's that game going to do? It doesn't change anything in the East. After tonight, everything is locked up. It's all set in stone, 1 through 10. So there's really no point in going out against Brooklyn and doing anything, man. That should just be like a nice little, all right, man, celebratory end of the season. East is already done. Western Conference, that's where everyone's focus should be on that day because there's still a lot to be had out there. But I do agree with Sayquizzzy on that one. Let's get to King Matthews. King Matthews, unmute your mic, bro. What's happening?
How you doing, fellas?
Doing all right, man. How are you feeling?
I don't know how to feel right now, man. Being up 23 points, thinking we'll probably beat Cleveland for the first time, but once again, the cardiac Nick affair, man, we blew it. Once again, man. Once again.
Once again, indeed. It's like I don't know, man. It's just so weird to see a team, especially since we're so accustomed to watching this team the last like 4 seasons, right? Even when they were
Yeah.
out of it, right? Even when they were out of it, and you talk about that down year from Julius. First, you got Fournier and Kemba. Like this team still competed on the way out. It's just a little weird to see going on a 3-game skid right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I'm going to say this. For a team that won 50 games, this is probably one of the weakest teams with 50 wins. This team is actually the weak. They're soft. I think everyone else could agree with it. We are soft. That's why I'm actually glad Detroit beat us last game, because they showed us we ain't like that. They're the bad boys out there. And for us, we ain't like that. Give me last year's team over this year's team, because at least last year they showed grit. They showed grind. This team's not showing that. And you know, in playoff time, when playing against the Pistons, they're not gonna let us go easy, man. It's gonna be a dogfight. You know that. Everyone knows that.
It's certainly going to be a fight indeed, man. It's certainly going to be a fight indeed when we face the Pistons in the first round. I appreciate the call, King Matthews. Always appreciate it.
For sure. For sure. And lastly, before I go, when the playoffs start, I expect Mitchell Robinson to start, man. This is a hot take, but I expect Mitchell Robinson to start. I do not want to see Hart in the starting lineup, and campaign, his minutes needs to be done with. Y'all take it easy, man.
Have a good one, King Matthews. Campaign
getting
there we go. I was waiting for that one. I was waiting for the glass to shatter for the campaign take. Somebody had to say it, man. But King Matthews asking for Mitchell Robinson to be in the starting lineup. Man. It should be it. Look, man. People are in the chat looking for DeLon Wright. And I ain't mad with that, man.
Well, remember, we talked about this before, man. I mean, that defensive versatility with him and Deuce in the second unit, there's a lot to like. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. There was a caller the last time we were on a post game that honestly made me rethink it a little bit, just because of campaign's energy. And I know people are going to be like, dude, just because he, dances on the sidelines and has a unique dap with everybody, like it's not just that, man. Like I do think that this guy,
the Theo Pinson vibe, my guy,
Theo
the Theo
Pinson
Pinson
vibe.
vibe.
No, man, I honestly think this guy does and can have like a very significant impact on a game. I seen it when we played against Philly last year. So like I know what this dude does when he's right. The problem is towards the end of this season, he hasn't been right a lot, and DeLon Wright has looked pretty good. It's actually a difficult decision for Thibs to make. I think he'll stick with campaign, but he can't be typical stubborn Thibs. If Cam is not playing well and this is somehow affecting us in the Pistons series, that pull has to be quick, man. You cannot give this guy, 3 games to figure it out if he's stinking it up out there. Like that pull has to be quick.
He's had 11 minutes. He only played, a shot. Like he played by NBA.com 11 minutes and 43 seconds. So Thibs wasn't relying on him too much tonight. So I think he's starting to catch on a little bit. But once we get back to DeLon Wright out there, man, just a steady hand, defensive versatility. It's all we're looking for, man. It's all we're looking for. But hey, speaking about Tom Thibodeau, let's get to this soundbite and hear what he has to say. Do we got the Thibs soundbite?
Yeah, got up 23, and you got to play for 48 minutes in this league. No lead is safe.
How do you keep the spirits high after these kind of
Well, we just got to be honest with ourselves. Look at what we did wrong, and we got to get fixed, and we got to get it fixed fast.
What needs to be fixed?
Everything. Yeah, you got to play for 48 minutes. So both sides of the ball.
Is that a coach that understands that his team is not focused, or is that a coach that's just like going through the motions of a press conference. They're like, look, man, I don't want to talk about it right now. This thing doesn't even matter to me. I'm going to go with the former just because this guy cares about winning every single night, man. There's no night that Tom Thibodeau would not like to win. We know that for sure. But hey, you're hearing that Thibs is looking for his team to execute, to be more poised, to play for a full 48 minutes, to not take any plays off. I mean, that's what we've been seeing, man, is that they've been doing the opposite of that for the last 3 games.
I think along that line, when he talks about you have to play both sides of the floor for 48 minutes, I really feel if you look at tonight, and I'm not throwing the hammer at any of these guys too much because it's like, it's rough game here and there, whatever. But OG and Mitch, to me, were the two players that stood out defensively in a positive way. Um, Josh, I think he played okay, but he's been in a weird place for like, I don't know, a couple of weeks now. And I'm not worried about Josh long term because he's been so solid for us for so long in key pivotal moments that I think he'll find it. But between Josh, Jalen, I thought Macau was all right defensively. I thought his effort was there, but I remember in the fourth quarter, man, there was a couple of things that Jalen did defensively that I was just like, where are you on this play right now? There was one play where there was like 3 guys guarding 2 at the top, and Mitch kind of like, ridiculously fouled Garland for no reason. But that whole sequence was kind of sparked by Jalen was just like, I don't know who he was playing. He was kind of like very weirdly out of position. There was a Strus 3 where I don't know where Jalen was on that play. So I agree with Tibbs in the sense that, guys are not locked in. That's what we're talking about right now. Everything that we're talking about, the attention to focus, comes down to being locked in, and you can't say, especially in this 3-game skid, that the Knicks are locked in. That Celtics game, I do think they played relatively well for most of it. They lost to a better team, and Porzingis hit some unbelievable shots. He was so hot that night. But the Pistons game and this loss, it's just a team that's not fully there.
It's just been too much of the theme throughout this entire regular season, whether it's on the roommates podcast, whether it's now from the head coach, whether it's post game pressers, whether Cat saying it last night, like, yo, we just have to play better. All these other things. Look, Brunson's talked about attention to detail. They said on the most recent show with Hart after he returned from the long West Coast trip. You have Cat talking about it. You got Thibs talking about it. It's a common theme. It's been brought up way too much throughout the regular season, and it's more than a trend at this point, right? It's a staple of what this team is when it comes down to late game execution. We see it whether it's the after timeouts, right? Whether it's the out of bound plays, whether it's just like knowing who to rotate or just getting back in transition on defense, right? Simple closeouts. It's stuff that they really have to work on. You're going to have now a week after Sunday to get into postseason mode. Postseason
Yes,
mode.
sir.
You have a week off. All right. You get some time to rest. You get some time to run some plays. You get the time to figure some things out. There is no excuse after this. There's none. Zero. Absolutely zero. You should all be ready, well rested for round 1 of the postseason. And if we know this team's got talent, we know this is a talented team. We know how good this offense can be. And I think the defense has gotten better, especially with Mitch out there. If you are going to hang your hat and say that you want to be a championship contender, you go out there game 1 against Detroit, shut them up. All right. And you do what championship caliber teams do, man. So I'm expecting that after next week, man. Shout out to Chuck D, by the way. We got a $20 super chat from the rhyme animal himself. Throw a hashtag PE in the chat. He says Knicks are the best conditioned team in the NBA, period. The style is war. Last year we lost the playoffs in the regular season. Detroit has vets that can hurt us, but they injury prone when it intensifies. It's war now. Absolutely, absolutely, Chuck. Agree with that 100%. It is war. It starts honestly now. Rest everybody for Brooklyn. Get these guys ready. Get the starters ready. Get everybody ready. Start preparing now. Ain't no time to wait. All right. We got bigger fish to fry. All right, let's get to some more calls, man. Let's get to some more calls. We got Zach on the Discord. He's part of that members lounge, man. He's part of that. That's what happens when you become a franchise channel member. You get to jump to the front of the line. Zach, what's going on, my man? How you feeling tonight?
Yo, guys, how you doing
Yo,
tonight?
What's up, man?
doing all right, man. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like this was what I would call a gut check, right? They need to find their identity going to the playoffs. This one, they took it on the chin, but I mean, they have that opportunity, as you just mentioned. They got, 8 days prior to the beginning of the real battle. They really need to, get into the locker room, have a discussion as a team, and come to terms with who they are, and really get down to the gritty ditty, and figure it out for the playoffs, because that's where we are right now. We're at a point where they need to prepare themselves.
Absolutely. They got to prepare themselves, man. At this point, it's like the regular season's over for me. Nets don't even really matter. It's all about Detroit, man, and we got to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as worried about Detroit. I mean, they're a young team. This is the first time they've been in the playoffs. I think, what do we say, 2019? I think they haven't
Mm-hmm.
won a playoff series since 2008. So,
Right.
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of pressure on them, just as well as us. But I mean, we're playoff boys. We've been there. We can do this. It's more so, coming to terms with the identity. How hard are we gonna go each game? I know Thibs said all 48, but Thibs is kind of teetering on who he is as a coach too. So I think it's a hard battle going into the playoffs, but we gotta galvanize and get ready.
Absolutely, man. Zach, appreciate the comment, man. Always appreciate you checking in.
Always. You guys have a wonderful evening. Share, hit the subscribe button, and everybody join. Be good.
There you go,
Appreciate
man. Appreciate it as always. And Zach talking about finding an identity going into this postseason, man. They got to regroup, talk about it. And look, man, I'm going to say this right now. Thibs is from that presser with Thibs. I feel like he feels the pressure of what this team needs to do, man. I feel like he feels the pressure of what needs to be accomplished here. You can't go out like no punks, man. You cannot go out like no punks. I think he feels that pressure right now, especially with a skid. You can't go into this postseason and look bad. It just feels like a coach right now that knows that looking around the league, where you see Mike Malone, you see Taylor Jenkins getting fired, like we're talking about a few games before the postseason even starts, teams are looking to make a change, and we see the direction that they're going. Whether it be an interim head coach that's young, we see what the pivot is towards throughout the league right now. All right, it was for all the teams prior to this. Okay, and so look, I think Thibs is feeling that pressure. I think when he talks about the attention to detail, that goes with finding that identity and seeing what they want to do and how this team will come out. You can see that I feel like there's a little bit of I think Thibs feels that urgency, how he's communicating that to the team. And if they feel that urgency, man, we're going to see that because it's going to speak volumes in game one. Honestly, game one is going to speak volumes of how that team just shows up and decides to show out. But Geoff, we were talking about something interesting before we started the show. And, I'm going back to King Matthews right now and what he was saying, and that, it just, do you feel the antsiness more this season than anything else about and I know expectations plays a huge part in what goes on and how you evaluate this team, and especially when you make all the trades that they did, you give up all the assets that you did, and you see that you were just injuries short of potentially beating the Pacers and going on to that Eastern Conference Finals round to face Boston. Do you feel this season, because I see it on social media, man, I've never seen where the Knicks fan base is more stressed out in the production of this team than years past.
I'm gonna say it's funny. So I want to talk about this. There was something that King Matthews also brought up about this team being soft that I feel like we got to touch on a little bit too. But so I'm gonna go on the side of I don't feel like it's that much different than it was last year. I feel like people were crashing out on Twitter after numerous losses last year, especially if it was a loss to the Hornets or the Pistons or someone like that. Julius Randle was getting all types of hate in terms of he's not that guy. You could say That's been given towards Cat, definitely been given towards Macau this year. A lot of people had concerns about the ceiling level of that team, that they were a grinded out team, but they couldn't match up with the firepower of some of the bigger teams in the East. Um, I think yes, the expectations are definitely higher. That goes without saying. But I think the level of Knicks fandom volatility in terms of their reactions is, to me, is very similar. I feel like the expectations are very high and the anger is usually directed in one of three places. It's either Tibbs, it was Julius last year. Um, this year it's Cat, McCall, Tibbs. I feel like those are the guys that are getting all of the heat. They are the new players. But in terms of the Knicks fan, I don't know, man. Twitter, listen, we know the accounts, first off. We know the accounts that are crashing out and thriving on the negativity or whatever it is, and more power to them, whatever you got to do. But I don't think it's all that different from last year. But what about you?
I think it's dialed up a little bit more, man. I think even with some accounts or some like even if you go on Facebook, I think there's just been a lot more chatter of saying, especially from the standpoint, like when I see people crashing out or being down on this team, it's always from the standpoint, where is that grit? Where's that intensity? As King Matthew said. Um, Look, do things. Shout out to do things. He even said this like in December, man. He was talking about this. And so I think fans this season are, they look at last year's because you were playing on house money, right? You didn't have to. The only big investment that you made was OG Anunoby, and the only word was like, all right, do we have to pay this guy 212 million? And that's really it. But then you trade all the other assets, and now it's locked in. And I think it's also partially as what you mentioned, Tom Thibodeau. And I think it's all right. Can this coach raise this team to the ceiling, to the highest ceiling that it could potentially be? And you know, that's a question that will be answered this postseason, man. It'll certainly be answered this postseason. But to answer the question, I think it's a little bit more. I think it's been dialed up this year, man. And because of the expectations, I think it's dialed up more this year. But I don't know, man. Chat, let me know what you think. Do you think what does the chat think? What do the people think, man? Add us all over the place. Let us know what you think if you think it's been dialed up more this season. All right.
Along that lines, Alex, do you think this team is soft? I'm curious to hear your 2 cents
Do
on
I
it.
think they're soft?
Yeah.
I don't think they're necessarily soft. I think you got the requisite guys to play tough. I think some guys shy away. Like I think Bridges shies away from contact at times, even though tonight he had 5 free throw attempts, which is, breath of fresh air. The guy should be getting to the free throw line. I don't necessarily, I think it's because when I think of soft, I think of this team as like, I think it's because when I think of soft, it's like the team doesn't even want to rise to the challenge. I think what it's more so than anything else is that they're just not focused, man.
Yeah.
I think it's just really that. And I think when you say a team is not focused and they're not paying attention to details, and being a Jets fan for as long as I've been, there's usually a few sources. It's one, the players, and then you also got to look at the head coach. So if they're not locked in, if they're not focused and paying attention to details and being ready for the assignment, you got to look at the players. I get that players play, but you also got to look at the coach and how's that being communicated to them to
Yeah.
get them out there and go and like go out there and execute. And I see Mike saying, Alex, if you weren't a fan of the Knicks, you would say they're soft. Look, man, I'm not really that hyperbolic team that goes out there. I'm not that hyperbolic fan that goes out there saying everybody's soft. That's just not how I really roll. But it's like they do not execute. And I think that's more than obvious. Cause like if you look at Josh Hart, like he's looking for all the smoke, man. JB's looking for the smoke too. All right. I think if you're gonna say like OG is willing to battle, McBride is willing to play tough, Mitch is willing to play tough. Precious has an erratic toughness to him. Like you look at Shamit's hustling out there. Campaign is taking charges. Like I can't really say the team is soft. Like that's just nah. I can't get with that, man. I really can't get. I can't get with that. But you know what? You know what I can't get with? Let's go to one of our sponsors tonight, which is DraftKings. And who are they sponsoring? key stats, baby. We're going to the key stats of the night. So let's get to key stats of the night, brought to you by DraftKings. Let's look at these numbers, man. As we know, the New York Knicks lost 108 to 102. And they also lost the rebound battle, as you mentioned, Geoff, 58 to 48. Man, by 10, man. By absolute 10. No Karl Anthony Towns tonight, man. But you think with Mitch and Josh Hart out there, you think you'd have enough. And even OG's been doing a decent job grabbing some boards. Knicks also lost the assist battle, not by much, 23 to 22. They won the steal battle 11 to 7, tied in the blocking category, 2 apiece. They won the turnover battle, man. Cavs had 15, Knicks had 8. But this is where it got a little different. Cavs just shot essentially almost 50% from the field, while the Knicks only shot 41%. Now, when you look at three-point shooting, Knicks did shoot better percentage-wise, 39 to 36%. And then free throws, they were tied. But here's the other area that the Cavs won that I thought was a difference maker. Points in the paint. The Knicks love to, dominate the paint, but the Cavs were able to outbody them 52 to 34. That's a big discrepancy. When it came to second chance opportunities, the Knicks won there 16 to 7. Fast break points. Both teams were tied with 19 apiece. So biggest takeaways for me, man, it's the rebounding and the points in the paint. This Tom Thibodeau-led team always loves to battle in the paint, always loves to control the glass, and they just didn't do that tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking at I think we both hate single game plus minus, but Josh Hart minus 16, Mikal Bridges with 17 and 8, a minus 14. Honestly, it kind of fits the eye test for me, man. I felt like both of them were a little underwhelming tonight. Mikal did have some big buckets here and there, a couple buckets here to stop some runs, but I didn't see enough from them tonight. I didn't see enough from them in some of the other parts of the game, especially with Josh. I know he had 11 rebounds, but I just didn't see his energy is what I want out of every game. I want to see this guy flying all over the court. I want to see him, getting a ton of deflections, things like that, making it really difficult for someone to, dribble or move around. I just didn't see that. And it's been that way for a little bit now. He's kind of just been like walking through games a little bit, turning it on here and there, and then just kind of like wafting in and out. So yeah, Mikal and Josh are guys that I kind of noticed in that vein.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is key stats of the night, brought to you by DraftKings. And good people out there, who's scoring big in the NBA season? You are, with all the new ways to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From monster slams to dishing the rock to cleaning the glass, get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. All right, here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. All right. So take it to the rack with DraftKings Sportsbooks. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code KFTV. That's code KFTV for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you just bet $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. All right. You got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, located in Kansas, 21 place age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Sorry for the Canada people out there. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. All right, man. Let's get back to the phones. Let's get back to the lines. Let's hear what the people got to say. We got Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Unmute your mic. What's going on, my man? Sunset Park, are you there?
Going once.
Going once. Going twice. Oh, he unmuted the mic. Is he there? Nah, man, can't hear Sunset Park. All right, man. Figure out, hop back out, hop back in. We'll figure that out. Let's go to STG Nick. STG Nick, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, Alex?
Doing all right, man. How you feeling? Are we getting the stadium report tonight?
Oh yes, I was in the building. Fan appreciation night. They gave away some cool Jalen Brunson bobbleheads, so I thought that was pretty cool. But what was not cool was the game itself. I mean, like I was listening last night. I didn't call in last night, but one thing I always notice is CP says like we'll be fine, we'll be fine. Like I don't know how we can watch these games. I know they don't mean a lot, but just walk away and say like we'll be fine. Like I don't know if this team has the ability to just flip the switch like that. Like they were up by 23 tonight, and they let Darius Garland and Max Strus just cook them in the fourth quarter. And like tonight, they had everyone out there except Karl Anthony Towns. You would think without Karl Anthony Towns, they would be a better defensive team. I mean, Garland was getting to the rim with ease. I like, I just don't see how they can flip any switch. Like tonight, they had everyone but Cat. I mean, it was definitely very upsetting. Again, just to be up by 23. Um, for sure. I mean, I guess bright spots. I thought Landry, he's been solid the last month or so. I thought he was big again. And, the second half there, third and fourth quarter, I thought he was really good, providing a spark. But with campaign again, 12 minutes, no points. He's not bringing anything. So, I mean, like you guys said earlier, I think in game one, he's going to give the nod to campaign. But I don't know if it's going to be like an Alfred Payton situation where it's like, in games 2 and 3, if he continues this, does he go to DeLon off the bench instead of campaign? I know those are small minutes anyways, but is that something he decides to do? And another thing too is when you guys were asking about like, does it feel like everything's been like dialed up a notch? In my opinion, it definitely has been dialed up because again, with all the moves that they made, like last year, you're saying playing with house money, everyone was injured, but the way that they fought and played hard, I mean, you were happy with whatever the outcome was. I mean, even that final game against Chicago, the last home game last season, I mean, that went into like overtime, but they fought and they scrapped. Tonight, it just didn't feel like that at all. I mean, they let the Cavs walk over them in the fourth quarter, 30-16. They make all the moves and they got rid of, the homegrown grit and grind that I felt like they had. They threw it out the door. But, where they're really going to be evaluated is the playoffs. But if they play like this, it's not going to be great. I still think they can beat Detroit, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of overlooking them. Like they're deep. Like they got guys that kill us. Malik Beasley, Cade, he's got size. I mean, last night he's not going to do that against OG, but Cade's got size. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Beef Stew. Can we match his intensity? It's going to be interesting. I'm sure you guys will have like a lot of shows breaking down previews for the playoffs, but I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely appreciate the check-in, STG Nick. Appreciate you always calling with the stadium report. And hey, man, STG Nick coming out and saying, hey, he believes that the intensity and the fan base is dialed up. And also saying not to overlook the Detroit Pistons, man. Got to respect everybody that you compete with. Can't look over anybody, man. Cannot overlook anybody. All right. Who else we got in here, man? Let's get back to the phones again. We got Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed, unmute your mic. What's happening?
Hey guys, it's just I don't know with this team. When we talk about like the X factor, like what's going to be the X factor for the playoffs and with this team, honestly, it's going to be the head coach for me, in my opinion, because all of these problems that we see in these games where we squander the lead in the second half, we find new ways to lose this season. These have been problems since the first week of the season. We've known since the first week of the season, honestly, even before the season started, when we first traded for Karl Anthony Towns, I'm pretty sure everyone was thinking that we would be starting Cat and Mitch together with a 2 big man lineup. And we didn't do that, obviously. And when we went to when you guys showed Thibs at the press conference after the game, when he says everything needs to be fixed, it doesn't give me much hope for the playoffs, especially for Detroit, because Detroit is a team that's going to play physical, they're going to play tough, and they're not going to take this lightly. And all season long, we have seen our guys go into like the turtle shell when other teams play tough against us. And Detroit is one of the toughest teams physically in terms of grit in the league. And that's going to be a big challenge for us. And even outside of getting to Boston in the second round, it's just the roster this whole season has just seemed so mismanaged. And I'm not even considering, like, obviously this game was very disappointing. But for me, this is just the build-up to the entire season's problems. And nothing has gotten fixed. I think since the first game, when we got blown out by Boston, it's just been the same exact problems over and over again. And I think the buck stops with the head coach.
All right, that is Mr. Ed. What? Oh, you get some, Mr. Ed. Where you calling from, man? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Well, I guess I'm from New York, but now I live in Florida.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you know, of course, when the Knicks get good, I moved out of the state, so I couldn't be there to watch it. So I had to live through the entire darkness era with this team. But I don't know. It just, with this team, it feels so disappointing that now we're good. It feels like, and we have the roster to compete. We have the talent. But to go 0-10 against the top 3 teams in the league, like, it's just so mind-boggling that we went through all these years with this team of finally searching for a coach, a front office, just a full roster that could finally deliver us to the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just so blind to the truth. I'm saying just in terms of, like, the coach, and if Leon, even with the front office, like, how do you watch this team make the same mistakes every single night and honestly let your coach repeat the same mistakes every night?
All right, Mr. Ed, appreciate Mr. Ed, I gotta cut you off right there, man. We still got many.
No problem.
We got many people coming through, man. We got many people on the line that are coming through. I want to make sure we get to everybody, but I appreciate the call and look, man. Rate that call in the chat, man. I see some people giving 5s in the chat. I see some people throwing tomatoes. Rate that call in the chat. What do y'all think about Mr. Ed's call? 5 being facts, 1 being trash. Seems like we got a whole we got a divide right here, man. I want to know what people are thinking. I know KB7 is enjoying this. So
I got some thoughts on that one, man.
All right, I see some 5s in here. I see some tomatoes. It's a polarizing call. Eric LB, shout out to you for being a franchise channel member, the resident KFTV DJ. Shout out to you, my man. Let's see what we got here, man. We getting 5s in the chat. Saying big 5s. We're seeing 1s right here. As I said, tomatoes. Hashtag fire Thibs, as we always know. We can always count on at least 10 of those per game, man. We can always count on at least 10 of those per post game. I know that for a fact. All right, man. People are liking what Mr. Ed had to say, man. People are liking what Mr. Ed had to say.
Alex, dude, those games against the top 3 or whatever, even in the Western Conference, I don't know. I mean, listen, I haven't looked at the total plus minus in terms of points, but we weren't even particularly close in some of those games. Like, to me, that's not a reflection of Thibs. Either bad matchup or, maybe roster issues are there. Like, I could definitely see if we were closer in some of those and then there's an issue with execution in the fourth quarter, or we're not running good plays out of timeouts or something like that. But I mean, early on in the season, okay, the first game against the Cavs, I remember we played that pretty close. We were actually up a decent amount, and then they came back. But then there were games where we were just getting blown out. The OKC Thunder, I mean, remember that when we played them like twice in 1 week? I don't think we were particularly close in either of those games. I don't know that
they were close. No, they were close in the first one. They just let go of the rope,
First-
as we've become accustomed to for a few times this season. But I think the second matchup was definitely not close. We saw that against the Celtics, as you're talking about. I mean, look, the fact that we went 0-10 against the top teams is not a good look for this team. But look, man, we're gonna see what really matters, man. Here it is, because there's a faction of the fan base that says regular season don't really matter. Get me to the postseason. Let's see what it's all about. You got another faction of the fan base saying, yo, these regular season games do matter. These should raise some antennas. Let's actually use this as some sort of evidence of what could potentially happen in the postseason. Look, man, rubber's about to meet the road. Let's see what happens with some of this, man. Let's absolutely see what happens with some of this. We got Eric L. Beats with a $10 super chat. Shout out to you, Eric. He says, all right, stop with this woe is me attitude. It's playoff time. Man, the family show up. Clean slate starts next week. Sheesh. Amen.
I listen. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in New York, this is literally the best time of year. Okay, the city is going to be it's going to be insane. All the bars, the garden, wherever you are, this is the time to get excited. To STG Nick's point, I worried a little bit about turning it on and off. Defensively, we were a middle of the road team all year. If you look at defensive rating, okay, I'm worried about that. But at the end of the day, we have Jalen Brunson. All right, this guy, we haven't seen a playoff series where he played poorly. Okay, we have Cat, who I think is going to play really well. I know he's received a lot of criticism this year, but this guy absolutely is going to want to make it work here. We know he's a Jersey guy. McCall has some things to answer. I think we know what we can expect from OG. He's healthy. He's going to be ready to go. Like, we should be excited about this matchup. We should be expecting to take out the Pistons in 5 or 6. There was one caller that was like, if we get past the Pistons, what are you talking about? Like, with all of the Knicks' struggles this year, we're still a 50-win team. Most likely going to be a 51-win team. We were still pretty much a top 5 offense all year long. And that's with the issues on the team. That's with McCall being up and down. That's with Jalen missing a month of the season. Okay? I think that's a pretty big deal. And we were still really good offensively. Defensively, I'm going to be a little bit worried, but that's where Thibs is going to hang his hat on. That's where he's either, like you said, the rubber is going to meet the road. He's either going to lift us to a certain point, or we're going to be stagnant. But the Piston series is not one where I'm going to be worried about that being Thibs being the X factor. If Thibs is the X factor in the Piston series, we're screwed. I don't want to hear about Tom Thibodeau in the Pistons series when our starting 5 is Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and Karl Anthony Towns. And I'm not speaking down on the Pistons. They're a good young team. They got some solid vets sprinkled in there, and I like JB Bickerstaff. But let's not get confused about where the edge is here.
Hey man, I just had Kahil on the show for the game of the week preview, and he even gave the nod to saying the Knicks have the talent. The Knicks will he was essentially, without saying it, but the Knicks should win the first round matchup, right? Without saying it, because look, man, he's got to respect his team. He's covering the Pistons, he's got to big up his team, and I get it. But the Knicks have the talent, man. But it's going to be about the second round, right? Can't overlook anybody. You still got to go out and go take care of the Pistons.
Right.
But to your point, this team has enough talent where if you're going to put it on a scale, the Knicks outweigh the Pistons in that manner. But if there are concerns, it's just pay attention to detail, man. The one thing I will say is that this team should not make this a 7-game series. No. They should not. And if you go that distance, that's where things have gone wrong, man. Because you don't want to go extend yourself and then get into the next round and go face against the Celtics, man. That's not what we need here. But the Knicks definitely have the talent where they should get past the Pistons. It's the next round it's the next round against the Celtics that I'm more curious about, in all honesty. All right, man. Let's get back to the lines. Let's see who else we got here, man. We got well, God damn it, on the line. Well, God damn it, what's going on? Going once, going twice. All right, he ain't here. Sunset Park, Brooklyn. What's happening, man?
What's up, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. What's happening?
Oh, awesome, man. First time caller, Alex. Much love for you guys, man. Super
Appreciate
supportive
it.
of you guys, man. Yeah, man. I'm with you guys. All 82, man. Like, I know a lot of people, you got the fair weather fans that are gonna be tripping out, man. But playoffs, 0-0. We got a good solid team. The only thing that I think that we need to focus is on defense. Because we get those stagnant points, but if the defense is there, we can take out the world, man. So much love for the Knicks, man. I think think Detroit's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be 5-1. But I think on to the second round, man. I think that's where the big challenge is going to be, man. So, but much shout out to you guys. Rapid fire, man.
Appreciate the calls. Appreciate the call, Sunset Park in Brooklyn. Appreciate you tapping in. And now somehow my mouse is now connected to my iPad, which everyone thinks I'm going to sleep when I'm just looking down at the iPad. But hey, it is what it is. Can't even what is going on here, man. All right, there we go. Now I'm good. Now I got some control back. Holy cow. All right, man. Let's go to this Josh Hart. Go to this Josh Hart clip. Producer, if you can get to the Josh Hart clip, that'd be great.
Josh, the theme of the season has kind of been make sure you guys are playing your best basketball at the end of the year. I guess where would you kind of evaluate where the team is, and is there time if you think you guys aren't there to figure it out?
No, I mean, we're not playing close to our best basketball. You know, I think this week we'll look at you know, situations, you know, and how to get us in our best basketball offensively, defensively, and figuring it out. So we'll play, you know, what, Saturday.
All right, man. SNY, man. The good people at SNY. What are you doing, man? Get the mics working.
Yeah,
I am
where's the audio
struggling,
call?
man. Struggling to hear over here. Whew.
Come
My
on.
ears are like working in overtime, man. I don't need to be doing none of that. Come on, guys. Invest in some mics, man. We all know you got that cash. Come on, man. Go out there and go get some new mics. But essentially what Josh Hart is saying is that the team is not playing their best basketball right now. I think it's more than obvious than that. And I think if these guys could admit that, these guys know they got something to work on. Once again, it goes back to they got to have a week off after this. 8 days. Let's see what they can do coming out of that break into game 1 against the Detroit Pistons, man.
This is what I want, Alex. You tell me if you're on this same page. I want Thibs to play video. Get everybody in the locker room, get everybody nice and seated in your comfortable chairs, maybe in your respective locker rooms, whatever. You know, you got some pillows in there, whatever it is. It's story time, right? I want Thibs to throw on the clips of Malik Beasley hitting threes in the Garden and doing his little shimmy dance and disrespecting everybody there, the crowd getting upset about it. I do think this team, they're not soft. I don't think they're soft, but I do think they need a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I think this team plays well when they have a chip on their shoulder. They need a reason to be upset. And I think you can give them a little bit of that. You play that clip, you know, Isaiah Stewart's going to do his thing, beef stew, whatever. Don't get sucked into that. Let him get the text. Let him get thrown out. He's going to play that game all the time. You don't want people getting sucked into that. But I don't mind the Knicks coming into it with a little bit of anger, a little bit of fire. You don't want to see Malik Beasley doing that in the Garden. Play that clip. Get him a little bit upset. We need something to get upset about for this first round.
Look, man, you know, coach has got to figure out how to inject some life into this team and get them amped. You know, being amped goes a long way. Playing with passion goes a long way. Being smart and playing with passion goes a long way. No one's saying to go out there where you're hard on your sleeve and just go, you know, go crazy and not be logical and execute and play with a high IQ. But got to have a little bit of passion, man. Even the top teams that can just go out there and execute, they're not robots, man. You got to have a little bit of passion. You got to have a little moxie, a little confidence out there. Irrational, not full rational confidence, but, you know, got to have some confidence where you got like, hey, I'm the best guy out here, man. You know, not be too egotistical, but like be just well-rounded in the approach, man. And that's all. You know what they got to do, man? I agree with you. Just throwing some Malik Beasley clips. You see what Giannis was doing today, joking with him, like doing a little shimmy. He's like, "Yo, get out of here, man. I don't need none of that." You see, Malik, it's like, yo, you got to have some confidence. But you know what, man? Going to this matchup, a shout out to Chuck D. I know I mentioned on another show. It's like the storylines for this game is going to be very interesting. You know, JB Bickerstaff, head coach of the Cavs last season, lost to Tom Thibodeau on that New York Knicks team, and you know they went into that matchup, you know, as the 4 seed. Knicks were the 5 seed. You know, a lot of people came on, like even Knicks Fan TV went on saying, "Hey, the Cavs had the more of a deep team, a more talented team." Knicks went out there, took their food, right? So you know JB's gonna be playing with a little bit of passion. You know Tim Hardaway is gonna be playing a little bit of passion, man. Traded to the came through on the Knicks twice, then got traded twice, man. Like this man came through these doors twice, and then hey man, you're not good enough. Get out of here. So you know he's going to be playing with some passion. Tobias Harris looking
Yeah,
to
Long
redeem
Island zone.
himself, man. After the way he went out in Philly, these guys kicked him out of the city. He wasn't allowed back, man. Even if he wanted to play another 2 more years, they probably would have said no. So you know he's looking to redeem himself. Malik Beasley not being on the Bucks, he's looking to redeem himself, man. Like there's a lot of interesting storylines for this team, as Chuck pointed out not too long ago, and so it's gonna be interesting, man. You gotta play it with a little passion because these guys are going to come in here with the aggression, some passion, and you got to meet that energy, man. Just need
I
the
agree.
Knicks to meet that energy, okay?
What,
What?
I was
Sorry.
gonna say one thing I really don't want to see. I'm reminded now of some mistakes that we made during the Heat series a couple of years back when I thought Thibs was really over reliant. He was so worried about Jimmy Butler, doubling Jimmy Butler every time he get the ball in the post, whatever. That opened so many things up for the Heat's offense. Gabe Vincent got open. A lot of their 3-point shooters got really hot. It gave the team a ton of confidence. That's what I don't want to see with the Knicks. I know Cade Cunningham is an absolute stud, and I think he's going to get his regardless. But it's the supplemental players that you just mentioned, Alex. These are the guys I don't want to see get hot. Tobias, Marcus Sasser, Tim Hardaway Jr. These are the guys that if you give them confidence, I think that changes the landscape of the game a bit. So, to the extent that we can, listen, you can't run one defense for 48 minutes. You got to switch it up. I just don't want to see us over reliant on one philosophy, one approach, and it makes us predictable. And then it gives the Pistons a little bit of momentum. Stay at home, take your matchup personal. I don't know who's going to be guarding Cade, whether it's going to be McCall or OG. But that's going to be such a massive matchup for us.
It should be OG. It's not.
Yeah,
It should not even be Bridges, man.
I agree.
Don't.
I agree.
It should be OG. Put the better isolation defender, stronger defender. Make Cade have to work with it. It should not be any question. We've already seen. Look, we haven't really talked about McCall tonight, and I know you. All right, man. He was okay. Like he was okay tonight. It wasn't anything to go right
All
home
right.
about. The one thing that bothered me is that you have Darius Garland. Bridges meant to guard your top player. Hasn't really, some nights he's done well, some nights he hasn't. You see how Garland just gets Bridges on his hip, able to attack the lane, get the floater off. I'm not taking that chance against Cade, man. Cade is
Right.
a much stronger player, taller player. Not even taking that risk. You put OG on him. OG stops a lot of things. Look, and this is the one thing like where I'll say that this is why I have confidence in the Knicks going to the next round. You put OG on Cade. You talk about like one of the best defenders out there. Cade, phenomenal player. He's going to still try to get a little bit of his, man, but he's the only guy. All right, he is legitimately the only guy that can attack at all 3 phases. Put OG on that matchup. It's a different ball game, man.
Yep.
Absolutely different ball game. Still got to execute, but it's a different ball game. So, with that being said, let's get to more calls, man. Let's get to more calls. We got who else we got here? Who do I want to end the show with? I have no idea. So it's like a little bit of Russian roulette right now, man. I have no idea. Let's go with Raw Soles. Raw Soles, unmute your mic, man. What's happening?
What's going on, Knicks Nation? How we doing?
Doing all right, man. How are you doing?
Oh man, it's just like it's kind of the same song and dance, man. To be honest, like I mean, I got the utmost respect for Thibs. You know what I'm saying? All the people saying fire him, which is like, understandable. But I mean, he got us here. They gave him the talent. And I mean, he's kind of showed us what he can do. Like we were up 23, man. Then somehow we turned into like a little junior Boston Celtics team just chucking up threes, man. Like timely threes, campaign plays minutes, and he's just like chucking up threes. The offense just like very stagnant at times, and I feel like we could use the mix up on offense. I mean, JB always comes in clutch, but the 24-second violations on offense at key points and just like the constant chucking up threes, man, like that can't be our team. Like we haven't been hitting those recently. And I mean, Landry Shamet was just an injection of threes and energy tonight, which was nice to see, Maybe plug him in, give him some more minutes, but that's really my take tonight. Is just like we kind of just started bombing ourselves by just putting up threes, man. And the defense at time looked lackadaisical, but I mean we can't have Thibs, man, making statements about like everything's got to get together at this point in time. Like that your head coach saying everything needs to be worked on like when the playoffs are around the corner, man. Like, we don't got that much game time action to get it together anymore at this point for everything. Like, he's got to
True
find a way
words.
to make adjustments, man, come playoffs, because the Pistons are gonna scrap, man. You got a young star in Cade Cunningham who's gonna want to like cement himself that he can, get buckets in the playoffs. And like you guys stated, man, they got some vets on that team that are gonna want to try and make a statement because, either the Knicks got rid of him or like Tobias Harris trying to make a name for himself after the goose eggs he was putting up in a Philly uniform. Like, but in all reality, man, the Knicks got to come out, man, and just show some of that old Knicks energy that we were showing last season, man, and just be dogs, man, and put us back in that fight. Because I feel like more people would, understand if they lost games like this to these good teams and we were in it and they were just being dogs, man. And
Hey.
we're just not going to survive on the three like that.
Hey,
We just can't.
I hear you, Raw Solos. I hear you, man, and appreciate you calling in, man. Appreciate you calling
Yeah,
in.
no, appreciate you guys, allowing me to, voice an opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
Been
what
a
we're
fan
here
of the
for,
Knicks
man.
for a long time, man.
That's what we're here for, man. We want to hear what the fans got to say. Appreciate the call, my man. Have a good one. And
Appreciate you
look,
too, man.
peace. And look, Knicks put up 41 threes tonight. They're not really a team that puts up many threes. Actually, they're on when you look at them throughout the regular season. Yeah, they're 27th. They don't even put up that many threes. Actually, and I think there's a little bit of an overcorrection because they didn't even do that much last night. Even when you have Towns who's going against Stewart, right? And it's like, yo, why are you attacking? Draw that guy out of the paint, knock down some threes, man.
Exactly.
Like, right? Like that, more pick and pops. Let's do that. We got a dynamic pick and roll duo in Brunson and Cat. We've seen it all season. It's nothing that's good. That's not going to be hidden, man. That's not something new. That's going to be played to death in the postseason, hopefully. And so, look, shoot some threes, man. Get the bet. And I know Cat didn't play tonight, but I think it was just an overcorrection in trying to get more threes. When yesterday, where you had Cat and Brunson, not enough threes were put up. But look, it's all about getting the good shots, not forcing shots. And they were forcing shots down at the end, down the stretch of the game, just because they had to stay in it. Hopefully that changes, man. Hopefully that changes. But you know what? Also, hopefully changes, and for the better, man. Hopefully for the better. Me doing this Skims read because it's not CP doing it. It is me. So let's go. Let's get back to this. All right, man. So shout out to Skims, new sponsor, proud sponsor of the NBA. All right. And look, I know CP's not here, so it's gonna be toned back. All right.
Maybe PG.
I'm keeping it PG, man. No testimonials, but I will tell you this: Skims, great product. Love what Kim K and the development team have created. All right. Initially started off as women's undergarments, but now you got men included. All right. And so, men, you can go out there, go get something that's nice, lightweight, breathable, fitting, gives you the support that you need. And look, man, I love Skims. Happy with the product that I got. No testimonials, as I said, from all you who have it and who have tried it. But as you see, they're a proud sponsor of the NBA now. They're great, man. And look, it was like getting Skims. It's like out of all the underwear that I've had, top tier, man. Absolutely top tier stuff. And that's why we recommend it to you. And so whenever you go out, when you're going to go purchase Skims, all right, when you're going to go purchase Skims and you go shop Skims men's, you go to skims.com, all right. And you can go, when you go to Skims and you're going to check out, all you got to do is just select how you heard about them. And when you do, put in podcast and put KFTV in to let them know that we sent you over there. All right. And look, you don't just got to buy for yourself. You could buy for your ladies. You could be, look, if you're a lady, if you're a lady Knicks fan, you're tuning in, go buy some for your men. If you like it, it's what they're here, man. All right. And they got the flagship store on Fifth Ave in New York. So they're already local, man. So you don't even got to order online. You can just go walk right in, see what you like. All right. All right. So make sure to go support our proud new sponsor of the NBA, Skims and of Knicks Fan TV. We're still waiting for that KFTV and Skims collab. Don't worry, man. We're going to get that in the works. We're absolutely going to get that in the works. All right, we got another super chat coming through. We got Tizzy73 with a $5 super chat. They said they let a little rat boy roll dice on our court. No film clips are moving these fools. Nothing is lighting a fire for them. Tizzy saying that there is no film to show these guys to get them activated for the postseason, man. That's what he's saying right there. There's no film to get these guys activated, man. Well, I hope that's not the case. I hope there is something that gets these guys activated because you can't be going into the postseason on a 3-game skid. All right. Got to fire yourself up, man. Postseason starts next week. Got to see these guys compete. No question about it.
Yeah, think about the national conversation about the Knicks too. Who was it? Alex, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it Perkins that just said they look more like a first round out?
Craziness, man. I mean,
Listen,
that whole take today was craziness. And I don't know if we want to go to worst take right now.
but what I'm saying is there's plenty of stuff to fire them up. First off, listen, this team, they're professionals, all right? And I don't say that meaning like, well, they're in the NBA and they're one of the 30 teams, so they're professionals. No. These guys approach basketball and playoff basketball the right way. Do they win every game? No. But generally speaking, when they play, they make the city proud. They make their fan base proud. Okay. So there's plenty of stuff to fire them up. There's people that are doubting them right now. They're on a 3-game skid. There are people that are going to look and say, are the Knicks that team that we think can maybe push the Celtics? Maybe not. There's a lot of people out there saying no. So these are all human beings that have egos just like me and you. And they see social media, they see what's going on. No one on this Knicks squad is going to go into the Pistons series like, whatever. Like, that's not our team. That's not their DNA. There's plenty of criticisms, valid criticisms that we can talk about that are both individual on the player level, team collective, and coaching staff. But there's plenty of stuff to fire them up. So I got to disagree completely with that last super chat.
All right, man. Let's get to the final call of the night. And let's wrap this thing up, man. Lando Nunez, you on the line, man. You are the closer for tonight. Lando, what's happening?
I'm good. How's everything with you guys?
Hey, man, it's
Good.
another day, another Knicks game, another dollar. You know how it is, man. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm actually gonna have a different take on it. So the past couple of years, New York has beaten a couple of these teams, and when it comes to playoff time, they always end up killing us. It happened with Atlanta. It happened with the Pacers. It happened with a whole bunch of them. I feel like this year, considering the fact Boston has beat us and Cleveland has beat us, I'm not fearing Detroit, right? This is going to be the first time they're going in there. They're inexperienced. We're going to get it together. Our starting 5 always picks up a big lead. It's the bench. We are weak in the bench, but Thibs is obviously going to stick to his 8 guys or whatever the case might be. I say take out Campaign's minute completely. He should have just been a situational 3-point shooter. One of those, oh, we need a 3 in the last 3 seconds and plug him in for that. Sub him. If you're going to use another point guard, use that on right for now. That's the safest choice because at least it will be all defense. If you think about your bench being right, McBride as your 2 guard, Shams for shooting, and you can alternate between Hart, OG, or Bridges as your power forward with Mitch. That's a defensive bench where the starting 5 is going to hold it down, pick up a lead, and all these guys got to do is just maintain it. And that's all we need to give the starting 5 a rest so they can come back in and take over. I also do think for the coach, this is going to be a make or break playoffs for him. I'm not part of the people saying fire him now, just like they did Malone. I feel like you let him play out the playoffs because I do feel like he already maximized. He already hit his peak in coaching. There's nothing else you can say to get more out of this team when it comes to his coaching style. Sometimes you just need a different voice and these people operate differently. And I feel like he already hit the top. There's no more excuses for him. He's done everything he's done. He's stuck in his ways. And yes, it got us to 50 wins, but it's yanking out your hair. And we do have the talent to keep up with these guys. I don't feel like Cleveland is that much better than us. We can compete with them. We can take them down the wire. All the games have been fairly close, except for like one. But come playoff time, everybody's record is set to 0. This is now during this week off. We do need Hart to just stay in the 3-point line, practice all week in the corner threes. That's all you got to do. Just practice threes because his shooting has been awful lately. I do feel like Brunson needs to stick to his man. They switching on everything when it comes to Brunson. It's like they don't want to see him defend, and I feel like that is causing our defense to break down, and they're getting open threes because everybody is overly helping him, and he just needs to maintain and just stick to them and bring the offensive figure to the defender, to our power forwards and centers down low, and everybody else just needs to wake up in the bench. You know, McBride is a shooting guard and a point guard's body. He cannot run the offense coming off the bench. So bring that on right. That's my take. And take it from there. I think we'll get out of the first round. Second round, I really think we are going to surprise teams. I'd rather come in as the underdog than being overly hyped.
All right, Lando. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate you for checking in. Lando's saying that we're going to get through Detroit and we're going to surprise Boston in the second round, man. He likes us as the underdog. But he did say that, Thibs, he did say that Thibs has peaked here, meaning that, hey, man, maybe he's looking for a new head coach starting the next season. But we'll see how that all plays out, man. But rate that call in the chat, man. 5 being facts, 1 being trash. Let me know what you think, man. 5 being facts, 1 being trash. Let me know what you think about that call in the chat. I see some tomatoes right now. I'm trying to make tomato soup out of you, Lando. Trying to make some tomato soup.
I thought it was solid.
Jeff giving a solid call. Jeff saying it's a 3, man. That's all he's saying. It's a 3. It's a solid third. A firm 3. That's what you're telling me right now. All right, man. Well, producer said, hey, we got some other new callers on the line. So looks like we're going to check out these 2 new callers as well, man, before. Thought Lando was going to be the closer for tonight, but we got some 2 new callers. Looks like. Well, goddamn it! Looks like you're back on the line. Well, goddamn it! What's happening, man? Unmute your mic. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. What's happening?
Yes, sir. Good to be here. I just want to make just 2 quick rapid fire points, just to piggyback on what Lando said a bit. Like, I don't want to just jump on the Thibs hate train just yet. Like, obviously there's some flaws. But I'm going to give him until the end of this playoffs. To me, honestly, it's either Eastern Conference, and if we don't make it, we may have to look into some other options. I think we may have a similar situation, kind of like the Warriors. Mark Jackson built those guys up. Steve Kerr kind of came in, took them over the hump. And I think Thibs, he kind of played his role. He helped instill a culture. He instilled some toughness. But I think what some people said in the comments, he's a bit outdated in today's modern NBA. I think that's true. This roster specifically, he had a chance to kind of show he had the opportunity to modernize the Knicks offense. Like, all the pieces are there. I don't see it. I don't see any schemes. I did see a little bit more schemes when Jalen Brunson was out. You saw some more ball movement, people moving without the ball. But now that he's back, it's kind of like we're back to the same thing. So if we don't make it, out of the second round, and second round's a tough task, but I don't know. I'm just not sold on Thibs right now, getting us to the promised land. So I'm still going to rock with him for the playoffs, and depending on how this looks, we'll determine. But as of right now, I'm unimpressed. And the second thing that I just wanted to touch on, with people saying the team is soft, I don't want to necessarily say that the team is soft. Like, we definitely have some hardworking, good guys. Like, I don't think we have anyone who is, ready to tussle or anything. That's why I love PJ Tucker. A lot of people are, throwing PJ Tucker some slack, but what he did for us in the Pistons game is exactly what I think we need going into the playoffs. I need him in the rotation a little bit more. Someone pushes Jalen Brunson down to the floor, you need someone to get on him. Anyone is, trying to bully any of our players, we don't have that. Like, we have good guys who are, they're tough, but they don't really want to scuffle. I think we need a few more scufflers out there. Julius Randle, when we had him, he wasn't necessarily an enforcer, but he was a presence on the court where people were like, all right, we're not going to really mess with Randle or try to bully him. And I think that's something that we were lacking. PJ Tucker, he's in, but he's not getting enough minutes. But, you know, when Jalen Brunson got thrown into the floor by Schroeder, I would like to see Jalen get up in it, yank somebody by the jersey, get tossed out the game. Like, I need to see a little bit of more of that from our Knicks. And you know, I get it. Like I said, they got like a good guy, hard worker mentality, but you know, we got to get a little more scrappy out there as a team. We got to show guys we're tough. We're not backing down. If we want to brawl or break out, we're ready to brawl. And as of right now, I'm just not seeing that. And going into this Pistons series, oh man, like that could really be a dog fight. And we got to show up and be tough. We can't just get thrown around and then, you know, throw PJ Tucker into the mix and hopefully he can get someone's jersey dirty. We need the whole team moving that way. And if we don't, I think, you know, it could be a six game series. And going into the second round, honestly, we need a gentleman's sweep. We need to be well rested. Whether, you know, it's good, well, it looks like it's going to be the Celtics. We definitely need to be well rested going into the Celtics. So we got to get the Pistons out of here fast. And if we go 6 games with the Pistons, just hang it up, boys. Let's get ready for next year. But thanks for taking the call. Love the show, everyone. Go like, subscribe. Let's rock out. Hopefully, you know, hopefully we're getting out the second round this year. Thanks a lot, boys.
No problem. Well, goddamn. I'm not even gonna say goddamn it because, well, goddamn, that was quite the call, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. He's saying, well, look, man, he's upset with Thibs, outdated. Thinks once again, following up with Lando's call, saying it looks like the man is peaked as the head coach for this team. But then talking about look, man, I'm happy that he said it, man. They're not soft, all right? It's a lack of detail, but we definitely don't have that grit. We certainly don't have that grit. And not having grit doesn't mean you're necessarily soft, but we definitely don't have that same grit as we did last year. You don't have that type of attitude, man, where guys are just gonna be getting into guys' faces and doing what PJ did to Schroeder the other night. But do you necessarily need that? Like, I get what he's saying with Brunson. You don't want necessarily Brunson being the guy to like potentially get text and thrown out and stuff like that. But you need somebody else, man. You need somebody else that's willing to go out there and do those type of things. Last year was Isaiah Hartenstein, but you need somebody else too who's going to be that enforcer, man. Put somebody in their check and say, hey, man, not against us. You doing that? You ain't trying to punk us now. All right. So I hear what he's saying. I hear what he's saying over there, man. All right. This should be the closer of the night. Is this Isaiah? Isaiah, please unmute your mic.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, brief. I'm not giving up on this team. I understand that we've had our troubles this season. I know it's not the most glorious season, even though we do have 50 wins. But it's our first year as a new collective. And I'm not giving up. I mean, Steph said it. The postseason is a new season. It's 0-0. So what? We got to see a tougher team, a quote unquote tougher team than us. Let's do it. We got to see Boston after that. Let's do it. We lose, but we go down with the ship. I'm all 82. Why are we scared? Why are we nervous? I understand to be nervous, but why are we really nervous? It's gonna be totally new, different, 0-0. I'm all 82. I'm ready.
There you go. Isaiah said he's ready, man. Isaiah said he's ready, man.
Like, let's not, I understand. Listen, I'm born in 2000. All I know is losing when it comes to the Knicks, right? But it's a new era. It's a new time for us. Why are we so, oh man, we didn't look that good. Oh man, guys ain't moving. We've had our troubles this season. We know our troubles, but it's time to fix that. And the time is now. I understand we didn't beat teams that are supposed to be better than us. Guess what? This was our first time seeing the Celtics healthy. Lost by 2. We lost by 2. Like, I'm not scared of nobody. We go down, but I'm not scared of nobody. Let's go. Come on, man. That's it. That's all I got. I'm in the building Saturday or Sunday, but let's go. I'm ready. That's all I got.
Appreciate the call, Isaiah. Rate that call in the chat, man. Isaiah said he ain't dodging no smoke. Rate that call in the chat. 5 being facts, 1 being trash. Let me know what you think about Isaiah's call. Isaiah said he's ready. He said, look, man, you want to have a little bit of concerns? That's okay, man. There's no worry about that. But we ain't dodging nobody. That's why I wasn't all with hey man, let's lose some games and get the Bucks. Nah, man, no.
No.
Miss me with that loser mentality, bro. Miss me with that. If you got to start doing that, dodging teams just to get to where you want to go, then you're not really a championship contender, man. I'm team is not like that, but hey, let's go, man. So appreciate the call, Isaiah. Appreciate the call. And we're gonna end it right there, man. So that's another KFTV post-game live in the books. Sadly, the New York Knicks fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers 108-102. All right. Make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe. All right. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. All right. And look, if you haven't tapped in already, if you can't catch the show live, you already know what to do. Go to youtube.com. Be part of the replay gang, man. We're always showing this show the next day. And look, if you can't catch it live, you can't catch it on YouTube, you can always download us on any audio listening platform, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Oasis, you name it. We are all over the place. So make sure to go check it out over there. And hey, Geoff, before I start shouting any franchise channel members, you got anything left to say before we tap out of here?
Real quick. 2 years ago, when we played the Cavs, Jared Allen said that the lights might have been a little bit too bright for us and where they were. I mean, why are we so certain that the Pistons are going to come in here like a team that's been together for 10 years and play us tough, right? It's hard. It's hard when it's your first playoff series and there's something that's actually expected of you. And it helps to have people that have been there and done that. They have a couple sprinkled in here, but you know, we have a core of guys that have been through the trenches and the battles, and there's no reason not to have faith in them. So listen, if you're a fan, get ready and listen, they're gonna lace them up, jump ball, and let's play. Like the Knicks are gonna be ready for this, so go for it. That's it.
Yeah, man. Knicks will be ready. Look, last game on Sunday against the Brooklyn Nets. We'll be right back at it, man. So like I said, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Follow us on any audio listening platform. All right. Make sure to be part of the replay gang if you can't catch us live. And hey, we also got a newsletter. Go make sure to support our fantastic writers. We got KFTV Jalen. We got Remy's recaps. We got Omar doing the damn thing. We got Geoff doing the damn thing over there as well. So make sure to go support. And look, when you sign up for the newsletter, okay, that's how you stay up to date on all the sponsors. That's how you stay up to date on all the shows that we got coming through. It's how you also stay up to date with all the current articles that we got coming through, man. Because they keep these writers. Hey, man, these guys keep you locked in throughout all 82 and then some. All right. Also, it's a good way to figure out through the newsletter about KFTV announcements, watch parties, merch. All right, so you can go there. There's so much positives about signing up for the newsletter, and it goes directly to your email. All right, so you don't got to go to a website. You sign up, you accept that directly in your inbox. You get it every single day. All right, you're never missing the pulse of what's going on over at KFTV. So make sure to subscribe to that newsletter. Okay, all right. Oh, look, man, let's shout out to some of the franchise channel members. As always, we got Chuck D in here rocking with the mosh pit, as he says. Shout out to Chuck. Throw a hashtag P in there. We got the Chief Modern Operation. All right, we got my guy TM in here. He always keeping things in check. Who else we got in here, man? We got Forever Allah. Shout out to you for being a franchise channel member. We got Thomas Donnery. Shout out to you for being a franchise channel member. We got the regulars. We got JJ. We got Junior Karoma. We got John Talento in here. We got Rare Edition, Jamaica Queens, Ari from Taiwan, Break Forever. Shout out to you guys for being franchise channel members too. All right, man. Yo, a lot of you in here, man. We were up to over 1,000. All right, today we're up to over 1,000. Eric L. Beats in here. Shout out to Eric L. Beats, man. Shout out to all the franchise channel members. Appreciate you. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Tizzy73. We got a lot of you, man. Appreciate for all of you for tapping in. Shout out to Knicks Nation. Salute to Knicks Nation. As always, Billy R23, shout out to you too. Mark Cardova, you already know, man. You already know. So you already know what to do next. Get ready for Sunday's game, man. We're gonna have play-by-play, post-game live, and then you already know what time it is. Again, we're locking in. You know, KFTV is gonna keep you strapped for postseason coverage, man. So make sure to stay locked in and tapped in. All right, everyone, we out.